I'd like to welcome you guys to another weekly installment of Pokemon What If Wednesday, where every Wednesday morning I go through last week's investing and collecting questions, where your guys' questions will actually be featured in the video, and one person's question will be on the thumbnail every single week. So please drop your questions down below for a chance to be featured in next week's video. And if I comment back to you and say, great question, I might use this and I didn't, please drop that question again. Let me know it's a repeat question and I'll move it to the top. I'm going to try to get to everybody's questions. And I'm not saying I know everything, or I'm some guru or something like that. But when I'm unsure, I always like to talk it out with some people, it always helps me make my final decision. But before we get started, we got to thank today's video sponsor, and that is Punch-Out Gaming. Punch-Out Gaming is my local game store that I go to and the #1 game store in all of Minnesota. I've actually been to them all. It actually beats every store that I've been to in Wisconsin also. But you can order right from their site too. They got stuff for everybody: Pokemon, sports cards, Yu-Gi-Oh!, One Piece, tons of sealed Pokemon products, and they have one of the best selections of raw Pokemon cards that I have ever seen in a store. And they're located 30 minutes north of the Twin Cities in Forest Lake, and the link is in the description, so definitely check them out. All right, first question. This is the question that's on the thumbnail. It's from Mike YT. What's the best 151 investment? ETB, UPC, or Japanese booster boxes? My cost is $55, $105, and $55 to $65 each. So for that question, I also want to throw in the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box as a choice, because very, very good box. That Snorlax stamp promo is kind of going crazy. Honestly, they're all great. You really cannot go wrong. I almost want to say Japanese for the 151 because we're getting it at such a good price now, and people were paying $100 a box. People were paying $150 a box, and people were paying $200 a box. So we already know, people are willing to pay a good amount for that set. I know now it's reprinted a ton more. And I'm guessing the 105 is for the UPC, which I can find all over for like $90. They keep having it on sale at like Costco and stuff like that. So you can definitely find that cheaper, which I absolutely love the 151 UPC. Like, no joke. So if I had to choose, if I can get that 151 UPC for $90, that's a really, really, really good choice. You're getting a ton of packs, some of the best promos we've gotten in Scarlet and Violet, if not the best. Well, they are the best right now. The Greninja promo is looking pretty sweet, but all good choices. And the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box, super good box, but you're already paying double. The regular ETB, I think we'll have plenty of time to be able to find that in stores. So I don't know. If I'm doing it, I'm doing the 151 UPC for $90 or even cheaper if I can find it. Some people say on TikTok Shop and all that. And the Japanese 151 booster boxes, if you can find it, for $50, $55. Cannot really go wrong there. That's what I would do. All right, next question is from a member, Chasing Celebi. Love Celebi. Hi, do you think standard ETB can still be an investment versus the Pokemon Center versions? I do. I think the Pokemon Center ones are going to be pretty expensive to where a lot of people can't afford them. So even if you look at Evolving Skies, the most popular set in the world, the regular ETBs are doing great. Now, of course, not as good as the Pokemon Center ones. But if you look at the Pokemon Center ones, there's like rarely any sales for these. They don't sell nearly as fast. We got 3 sales in June, 1 sale the month before, 1 sale the month before, and 3 sales before that. So yeah, it's just more expensive. I mean, you can get 2 regular ETBs for the price of this one. But again, a lot of people do not sell this one, they're holding on to it. So it makes sense. But I mean, these ETBs, the regular ones, are $130 right now, and originally they were like $40, $45. But the Pokemon Center ones obviously worth a lot more. I do think the regular ones will be fine, and there will be a market for them in the future. But if you can get the Pokemon Center ones, definitely try to get the Pokemon Center ones. I mean, you can just see the price difference right here. Even though they don't sell as much, all you'd have to do is just, drop the price $10 or whatever it is, and you'll sell it instantly. Also goes into the next question too, is from UrtaU8774. Hey, do you think it's worth overpaying for Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes if you live in Europe, since Pokemon Center doesn't ship there? Or should you just keep working with normal ETBs? Repeat question. Now, it's tough. It depends on how much you're overpaying. It depends on what the box is. So let's say you're paying like $75 for a box that costs us, $59.99. That's not terrible. But if you're paying like $100 a box when it's $59.99 for us, that's getting a little expensive. And if you can get the regular ETB, for the regular price, especially with Scarlet and Violet, I mean, we're still getting really, really good promos. So yeah, I'd probably go regular ETB, unless, like I said, it's just like maybe $10, $15 more. That's not terrible. And it would probably be worth it for a few sets, because as you can see, it's very expensive to get these Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes. But all right, next question is from Lurek. Where do you purchase cases? Repeat question. Love the vids, man. Makes my week always better. I really, really appreciate that. So I always like to get my cases from my local game store. You know it's legit, everything, the people, but you can easily get them online too. You don't really have to worry. These are all sold prices on eBay. All you really got to do is look at their seller rating. If they got a ton of sales, you don't really have to worry too much. Like this person has, it's a 99.6, but they have 3,400, reviews. This person, 99.8% positive with 209,000. Like, you don't have to worry too much when you're dealing with that. And you can always go in and look at the reviews too, and the bad reviews. And if you see a bunch of fake cases, then of course. But yeah, you just got to find your sellers. Find those good sellers that you like and follow them and, keep buying from them and supporting them. And once you do that, you don't have to worry anymore. But yeah, I get it. It is scary. A case is a big thing. So that's why I always do like to go to my game store. Plus you're supporting your local game store also. So next is all Sonata Person 888. I probably butchered that. Assuming rarity is a factor in value, will there ever be any investment attention given to the Japanese versus, as it's, to my knowledge, the only set that only saw a Japanese run? These are some of my favorite Japanese cards, and basically the only Japanese cards that I actually collect. Some of the most beautiful arts ever put on a Pokemon card. I love these things, and I do think they'll be pretty valuable in the future. I think a lot of English collectors are going to want to go back and get them just like I do now, once they learn of this. I've known about these for a while. I probably have 20, 25 of these, all in super, super good condition too, so I'm very happy about that. But some of the most unique, beautiful, exclusive arts you will ever see on Pokemon cards. So yeah, this was not printed for English. All of these arts are exclusive to Japan. I have 3 of these Claire's Dragonites. Typhlosion is sick. Yeah, there's so many beautiful cards. Man, I would love to get a bunch more of these. I got a big lot and it had some of these in it. And I sold a couple of the doubles, but I kept most of them. I love them. So yeah, I think these will be very, very expensive in the future. All right, next question is from Kyle of White 8812. What are your thoughts on Amazing Rares, more bespoke Japanese versus English? The English seemed overprinted and everywhere in the boom, but the Japanese are much more scarce and only 1 per booster box. I think they are a great investment. I love the Amazing Rares. I have a ton of the English ones because they're so cheap. So we'll take a little peek here on eBay sold prices. So someone got the whole set for Japanese for $134. So yeah, they are worth way more than the English. Because look at the English right here. 20 bucks. 25. CGC Pristine 10. Someone got 3 outs Japanese. 20. But yeah, I think there'll be a decent market for these in the future. I feel like even the English ones will go up. Yeah, I think these were $30-something cards. A ton of people came back on Vivid Voltage. So I feel like these are going to be a little nostalgic for people. I'm still going to be buying these, set of 9 for 15, 20 bucks all day long. I want a full 360-page binder of these every page. That's what I want. And the Japanese, they are beautiful. I've seen them before. I've had the Jirachi before, and I think the Celebi ended up selling them, but they do pop way more than the English ones. I just don't really collect Japanese too much unless it's the vintage stuff. Not sure how much more they're going to gain value, especially with the whole Japanese market kind of being super, super crazy right now. But yeah, I've been stocking up on the English ones because they're just dirt cheap. And I've gotten them way cheaper than 15. I've literally got them for $1 a card, and I think Rayquaza was like $3. So, all right, next question is from Adam Lozano 2268. Repeat question. I'm collecting full art Pokemon cards, specifically Sword and Shield era. I love these because they are textured and cheap. Do you think they will blow up in price sometime in the future? Now, I don't know about blow up, but I think there will definitely be a market for them. I mean, look at how cheap these are. And there are a ton of people that think these look better than the rainbow cards. I'm one of them. I love these cards. They're absolutely beautiful. I just don't collect them because I just, I try to make my collections super realistic. There's a ton of these V cards. I'm collecting the alternate arts and special illustration rares, so had to cut these out, but they're beautiful. And I mean cheap too. Even the Lugia, market price $8.17. Ho-Oh's $3.82. Aerodactyl's $1.80. Yeah, at these prices, I would totally feel fine with stocking up. And, just do it with more popular sets, Lost Origin, Fusion Strike, Evolving Skies if you can, if it's not too expensive. And, do the more popular Pokemon. And I recommend starting with the little bit more popular Pokemon. That way, if you do stop halfway, you know, you ended up with a bunch of the more popular Pokemon cards because a ton of people, I'm telling you, start a collection, they get all the cheaper ones, and then they get bored of it or whatever. And then, you know, they try to sell the collection a year or two from now, and it's not worth that much because they started off with all the cheap ones. I mean, a Lugia is $8 here, so not too bad, not very expensive. So, yeah, great idea, especially for how cheap these are. But like I said, too, don't know if they're going to be like $100 cards or anything like that. But I could see, especially the Sword and Shield era, very, very special. I could see all of these being maybe like $5 cards or something like that. You never know. All right, next question. It's from Aaron Gugino. Repeat question. Love the vids, man. Question for you. What are your thoughts on investing in the Moonbreon at this market price? Would you, and if so, would you invest in one graded or raw? So I always try to buy at the bottom. I probably myself personally would not buy one of these right now. I think they will come down a little bit, but I could be completely wrong, and these could be $2,000 cards in a month. So remember that. But if I had to guess, I'm going to say they're going to be about $500 raw and around $1,000 in a PSA 10. We're already getting multiple sales at $1,250, $1,200 in a PSA 10. So we're getting close. And right here, these are the last sold on eBay, $780, $780. I mean, these were just in the 900s a few weeks ago. So, and it also does depend on condition too. Like that's lightly played to mint. This one says near mint here. Let's check the condition because that's the biggest difference, especially for this card here. So if it looks clean, little damage up here and down here. Not too bad though. Yeah, I mean, for the price, that's okay. So I do think, like I said, could be a $500 card. Not sure, not guaranteed, but that is my guess, and I'm waiting to buy one myself because I also need one. So, next question is from Pancakes476. I'd love to get a Sun and Moon booster box, but which set should I go for? I'm not sure which boxes are still semi-affordable. Love the channel, and thank you for always posting awesome content. Appreciate that. So, check out the Sun and Moon boxes here. So I have a few hot takes on some Sun and Moon. I think Ultra Prism is a little undervalued. If you look at what's in the set, this is a waifu dream set. I don't collect waifu cards at all, but there are so many full art trainers that are just hundreds of dollars in this set. It's crazy. So that is the all waifu set, which I think could easily be a $1,000 booster box. Cosmic Eclipse is very, very good. So I do think Cosmic Eclipse is even a little undervalued. I could see this thing shooting up to, you know, $1,500 a booster box. Same with Unified Minds. I think that's undervalued. I think that could be a $1,000 booster box. I mean, Celestial Storm is almost up to $1,000. So yeah, if I had to choose, I don't know. It's a tough one. I really like Cosmic Eclipse and Unified Minds. I think those are going to be a little bit more popular than Ultra Prism and, you know, these other boxes here. But so many options. And again, it could be wrong. These could come down in price. You never know. I just feel like for how expensive Team Up is, you know, almost at $2,500. I definitely think some of these boxes have a little more room to grow. I know Team Up is crazy. It's like the Evolving Skies, but still Cosmic Eclipse is so good. So good. All right, next question is from Alexander Lund 8349. What are your thoughts on the Paladin Fates Charizard tins? I haven't heard anyone talk about them in a while. All right, let's check them out. If you can find these in store at MSRP, definitely pick them up. I want to say they're only $29.99 or $24.99. I can't remember. I could be off on that. Let's check that 1 year high here. Was up to $54 on release. Super crazy. All the way down to $35. Leveling back up at $39, $39, $38. Any tin with a Charizard promo like that is going to do decent. You know, a lot of people do not like the crown though. That's why I don't think it's going to be like hundreds of dollars for this tin. And Paladin Fates is a decent set. I mean, it could have been so much better if we would have just got 3 more shiny special illustration rares and 6 more regular shiny illustration rares. This set would have been amazing, top tier. But I can see this tin being back up to $50, $60 one day. Probably going to take a bit. So yeah, like I said, if you can find it in store, decent pickup for sure. All right, next question. It's from You Still Trying. For a new collector, how would you recommend going about buying PSA 10 cards, minimizing the chance of buying a fake slab if you don't have card shops in your local area? Great question. And this is where you're going to want to just find your good sellers and stick with them. One of my sponsors is Arizona TCG. You know, you know they're going to have legit slabs. They check everything. There's also a number on the back you can check on PSA, which can still technically be faked, but always do that also. And then for eBay, just check the seller rating and stuff like this. PSA 10, Suicune here, we'll check the seller rating. 100% positive feedback, you know, with almost 1,200 reviews. So you do not have to worry, stuff like that. And that number I was talking about, right back here, the 910244149. You can scan it also. But yeah, don't have to worry too much. Just do a little bit of research on your seller and all that. All right, next question is from @Cosmic. Repeat question. Do you think it's worth investing in SIRs, IRs, and Altar's that complete a set? Thinking of getting Gouging Fire, Pidgey, Obsidian Flames Trio, and 151 Venusaur, since down the road, people will most likely seek them out for collecting since they belong to an art set. Yeah, I think so. I don't think they're going to go super, super crazy. I mean, the Venusaur, I think, will. I think anything 151 is going to be absolutely wild in the future. But yeah, I get what you're saying, especially if you can get it for like a super good deal. Like the Pidgeotto, people are going to need to get the Pidgeotto to complete this set, and the market price is only $2.42. If you stock up on a bunch of those, you know, not a bad idea. Just don't think it's going to be like super, super crazy valuable, but you never know, especially if you're doing Gen 1 Pokemon too. You know, there's always a premium for those guys. Next, @Thuany91, new subscriber, awesome videos. My question is, what do you think Japanese 151 booster boxes will get up to in price in 3 to 5 years? Great question. I'm going to guess back up to at least $200 for the 3-year mark. And then for 5 years, I could see it being maybe $300 a box. Complete guess, of course. It's definitely going to be way slower than it was originally because they reprinted this thing like crazy. There are so many boxes. But it's a very, very special set. It's 151 and it has the Master Ball. So you really cannot go wrong there. All right, next question is from that guy J44. Repeat question. What do you think could prevent the 2025 Team Rocket set from being a banger like 151 has? If they do a small set, like I think it should definitely be minimum at least as big as 151. I even feel like 151 is kind of small. And I think what could also ruin it too is if they do all of these newer Pokemon. You know, I want a good mix of all different generations. If it's mostly Generation 9 with, you know, some other old ones thrown in there, I don't think it's going to do nearly as good. But I have very, very high hopes. But I have a feeling it's going to be pretty heavy in the first few generations. So it could definitely be one of the best sets we've ever gotten. You never know, especially, you know, seeing these dark Pokemon in special illustration rares and illustration rares is going to be amazing. Because I feel like when they did it before, they didn't really get enough card to showcase, you know? So I'm very, very excited. That's probably what I'm most excited for out of all the sets announced. There's the Dragon set. There's the Terra Evolution set, which, you know, I'm pretty excited for. I know it's going to do great. Don't think it's going to be nearly as good as Evolving Skies because we're dealing with Pokemon with crowns compared to regular Pokemon, and then just giant versions, which most people don't mind. So next question is from Typhlosion, Gaming45. I love Typhlosion. Is it a good idea to hoard certain modern cards for investments? I am currently buying up all the cheaper SARs and IRs. Example, I have full pages of cards like the Greta, SAR, Poppy SAR, Iron Truds, SAR, etc. Should I keep buying or should I focus on the higher price SARs and IRs? Thanks, buddy. I don't mind that, especially, you know, it's so cheap. What I would definitely do is be very, very picky on condition, because it's going to be such a nice option to know that you can grade all of them and possibly get a bunch of PSA 10s or whatever it is. So if you're going to do that, be very, very picky on condition and try to get those mint cards. Don't just take any copy, because, you know, you might end up with a bunch of cards that only gain $1 or $2 and people aren't buying them because they're not, you know, perfect cards. But yeah, I do that all the time. I'm just really, really picky on condition when I do that. All right. Next question is from Nicholas Gallagher. Hi, Pokebeard, new 30-year-old collector here, getting back into for nostalgia and investment purposes. What would you recommend for stopping point in ripping booster packs before you start buying singles in a set? I am not trying to complete the set. For example, I love Fusion Strike. Chase cards, opened 44 packs and did not get any of the Mews, Celebi, or Gengars. I then started buying some individually. Great question. So when a new set comes out, I always like to buy right on pre-release, you know, buy a couple of the little build and battle boxes from your local store. Some make you play, some don't. But yeah, I get a few of those and then I'll get an ETB that first week or whatever, maybe a booster box, and then I open that, and that's about it. And then I'll buy singles from there. I usually wait 3 months to start buying singles for that set. But yeah, I always take a gamble. You know, you never know. You could pull the Greninja or whatever it is, whatever you're chasing. And if you pull cards you don't like, you know, or you don't collect, then you could sell it on pre-release, which is when cards are the most expensive. But I always take a chance, gamble a little bit, because that's all it is just gambling. After a while, I am way too cheap and love Pokemon way too much to just spend money ripping packs. I would way rather have the cards in my collection, because I'll literally do anything to get these cards in my collection. And if I can get more cards in my collection, buying singles and opening packs, I'm buying singles almost every time. But yeah, just take a little gamble right away, open a box or two, and if you don't get it, oh well. And then I also do like to buy a random booster pack here and there. You know, if I'm feeling lucky, you have no idea how many alternate arts or rainbows or whatever it is I've pulled from just buying one booster pack. It's not very much, and it kind of, you know, scratches that itch. So yeah, just don't go super crazy, I promise. It'll be worth it. If you take somebody like me who doesn't open much and buy singles compared to somebody who opens a bunch, my collection will beat his 100% of the time without a doubt. Like, it's not even a question. So if you want a great collection, buy singles. Next question is from Mazzy Samadai 3395, and I kind of already answered this one. I should have put this one by the other question. I know this question is purely speculation since we know almost nothing for each of these sets, but what if you can only invest in one of these sets based off what we currently know? Dragonite Paradise main set, Eevee Terrestrialized Festival set, or Team Rocket set? So if we're talking investment wise, you know, I'm probably going to go Team Rocket, then probably Eevee, then the Dragon set. We don't really know what's in the Dragon set, and we've had Dragon sets before that aren't that great. So they can easily fumble a Dragon set. You can't really fumble an Evolution set because it's got all the evolutions in it. We know the Pokemon that are going to be in it. But with the Terra thing and the crowns, it might not work as good. And with the Team Rocket set, you know, it's not going to be probably Terra heavy or anything like that. It's probably going to be some older Pokemon. I really think the Team Rocket set's going to be crazy. That's my guess. All right, next question is from Tyler Touchstone 1140. I'm going to be a vendor at a card show for the first time in July. Any tips? Okay, so if you're going to be a vendor, bring a ton of snacks, bring drinks. I like to bring a little fan because sometimes they get so hot and I don't like heat. I don't know how you are, but I always like to bring a little fan with me, you know, whatever you can bring with a Switch, anything like that. Because sometimes it does get boring and sometimes it is slow. If you're by yourself, you probably won't have too much time to sit and play games, but you'll definitely have some downtime. And then I definitely recommend bringing as much stuff as you can, like cards, boxes. Bring all of your stuff. Because the more stuff you have, the better you're going to do, and the more people that are going to stop. If you don't have very much, you know, it's going to be slow. So yeah, bring everything that you can. Maybe even go buy another lot or two before the show, whatever it is, if you don't have that much. And then yeah, just bring snacks and a little fan or something like that. And then remember, try to talk to some people, you know, talk to the vendors next to you. Be very, very, very social. Ask people's names, you know, you might be talking to some YouTubers and stuff like that. You just never know. You know, I've met so many people. I've gotten sponsors from card shows. It's crazy. All right, next question is from Aspect Plays 22. Hey, I'm getting back into Pokemon and I'm a big fan of you. Repeat question. My question is, I bought a booster box of Japanese 151 and paid 78, so I did overpay. I also bought Pokemon Celebrations 25th anniversary for 68. And I was going to ask if those were good investments and how long would it take for them to go up in price. I do think those are good investments. Probably going to take another couple of years. Like for them to like actually make you money. It's going to be a little bit. 78 for 151 isn't terrible. Just think there's people sitting on Japanese 151 that paid 200. No joke. Hundreds and hundreds of boxes at $200. So 78 is not terrible at all. And then 68 for the Celebration box isn't terrible either. So I think you'll do okay. It's going to be a bit. All right, last question is from @TurboFish. I haven't heard it on the channel yet. What's inspired you to do YouTube and continue to invest in the hobby? I hope the Mrs. and Mini Beard are doing well. I really appreciate that, and I think it's hilarious. I love when people say Mrs. Beard. My wife giggles every time. Super good question. Now, the reason why I've been in Pokemon my whole life, you know, I started, of course, as a kid. Some of my greatest memories was hunting these cards. My mom also got obsessed with it, so we both were opening packs and driving an hour and 20 minutes to go to Schindler's in the cities to hunt for cards. And we finished, base, jungle, and fossil. But yeah, such good memories. And then what kept me in it after that was I actually played the TCG. I played the TCG all the way up until COVID and then stopped. We moved, store shut down, of course, for COVID. So I haven't really gone back. And then, I started my YouTube channel, so I've been pretty busy. But I would love to get back into the TCG. And for the reasons I started my YouTube channel, I have a few different reasons. One, there's a few PokeTubers I felt just weren't very nice. Like, I'm not going to mention any names, but one was complaining they weren't selling very many cards, but they only really sold cards $100 and up when, 90% of all Pokemon cards are sold in a day are under $100. And he literally laughed at my comment. And what's funny is too, that guy has like 20,000 subscribers right now and I got 120,000. So totally beat him. And then another thing, all of these PokeTubers, I get it. Some are very, very busy, but it drives me nuts when they don't message people back. Like, that's my biggest pet peeve, especially if they get, way less views than me. How are you not commenting back to every single person? I mean, they're actually watching you, and then not only that, they leave a comment to even help you even more. It's just crazy to me. It's the least I can do. I mean, I get it. If you're PokeRev and, all these big guys, you're very, very busy. But even then, if I get as big as PokeRev, I will literally have everybody else edit, do everything, and I will sit and comment back to as many people as I possibly can. Probably won't be able to do every one, but still, those comments mean a ton. So that's another reason why I wanted to start my channel. And then another one was, especially for the investing space, I felt like everybody was doing the exact same thing. The same random videos about the same 20 sets every couple days. And I still feel like it's the same thing. And that's why I started my investing channel where I'm doing weekly series. Nobody was doing a weekly series at all. The only weekly series people were doing were like live streams where they're opening packs. But nobody was doing like an investing, weekly series, anything like that. So I felt like there was an opportunity there. And then I also felt like a lot of the other Pokemon investors, they're buying cases and cases and cases, or, they're opening boxes and boxes and boxes. And I felt like that really wasn't me. There wasn't somebody like me in the investing space who's just trying to save as much money as possible to get as many cards as possible. Because, we're a fan first, collector second, investor third. I would probably rather spend money on my collection, finishing sets, than I would buying sealed products. But I do both, because it's great and it's a good way to make money. I always feel like too, most regular people are not sitting there buying cases on cases on cases on cases. And, the money doesn't mean everything to me. I've heard other Pokemon investors say their favorite cards are their most expensive ones. My top 10 favorite cards aren't even in my top 100 most expensive. I have sentimental value, nostalgic value, and all that. Even some of these newer cards, like the Chien-Pao EX is one of my favorite Scarlet and Violet cards, one of my favorite cards in Pokemon history. I just love the Pokemon, the art's beautiful, stuff like that. Doesn't have to be super, super expensive for me to enjoy it. So yeah, I just felt like there really wasn't a Pokemon investor on YouTube like me, and that's why I did it. Sorry for that ramble there, but that was a super, super good question, and nobody's asked me that yet. But all right, that was today's Pokemon What If Wednesday. So like I said before, drop your questions down below for a chance to be featured in next week's video. And then, like I said too, if I did say great question, I didn't use it, please drop it again. I will get to it, I promise. And if it's super, super long, maybe try to shorten it up. If it's too big for me to screenshot, I can't use it. And I'm not really trying to read 3-4 paragraphs for every question. So please try to shorten them up a little bit. I really, really appreciate it. And if you guys do like this content, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and please leave a like. It helps out so much. And just know if you do comment, I comment back to every single person. It's not a big deal. Don't feel like you're bugging me or anything like that. And you can join my membership for 99 cents a month. You can check out my eBay store. It has 100% positive feedback with over 20,000 cards sold. And you can check out my Instagram that I just started showing off my collection. But I want you guys to have a great day. And if you want to watch my last Pokemon Market Monday, click this video here. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.